Hello everybody. In this video, we will try to discuss some of the basics of astrology, Vedic astrology. So whenever you have time of birth, date of birth and place of birth, you can get what is called as a horoscope, which consists of 12 houses basically. Even though you don't have time of birth or date of birth or place of birth, you can still generate a horoscope, but it's a difficult process. It can be based on the Prashna astrology or based on the birth time correction process, based on the past events. We can come to a conclusion of the horoscope of a person, but it's a kind of tedious process. But the best thing is, if better you have the date of birth, time of birth and place of birth. So once you have that, you can generate a horoscope consisting of 12 houses. In the horoscope, the first house is called as the ascendant or the lagna house. And whenever you want to judge the bodily comforts of a person, means when you want to talk about the physical strength of a person or the physical body of a person, you talk about the first house. First house is always about your body, your physical body. So here in the astrology, you have 12 signs basically: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces. These are the 12 houses. Any one can be your lagna, because every lagna lasts for 2 hours at most. So totally there are 12 signs, so 24 hours are covered. So what is lagna basically? What is the ascendant? When a person is born, and if you're looking at the east direction, whatever is the rising sign, so the 12 signs you're talking about, they change every 2 hours. So let us say when a person is born and you just look into the east direction and you find let us say Libra as a sign, right? Libra is a rising sign, so that is going to be the ascendant or the first house or the lagna house of that particular native. Now let us take Libra as the ascendant for a person. Then who is the Libra Lord? Is Venus, right? So for Aries and Scorpio, the Lord is Mars. For Taurus and Libra, it is Venus. For Gemini and Virgo, it is basically Mercury. And for Leo, it's Sun, and Cancer is Moon. Capricorn, Aquarius, you have Saturn, and Sagittarius and Pisces, the Lagna Lord is the Lord of these two signs, that Sagittarius and Pisces, is Jupiter, right? Now let's take Libra ascendant. So the first house of the person is Libra ascendant. That means so every horoscope has 12 houses. The first house, if it is Libra, then the 12th house is automatically Virgo. Now if you want to judge the bodily comforts of a person, then you need to check the Lagna Lord's position. So the Lord of the ascendant, if it is placed in the exaltation, then the person may have very good bodily comforts. Let us say Libra is the ascendant. Then what is the Libra Lord here? Libra Lord is basically Venus. So if Libra is the first house for you, means when you are born, the sign that is rising in the east direction is Libra, then Libra becomes your first house, that is the ascendant. So automatically Venus is your Lagna Lord, and the placement of Venus is very much important if you want to talk about the bodily comforts of that particular person, right? So if this particular Venus is placed in a very let us say in the Pisces is the sign where Venus exalts, right? So if the Lagna Lord Venus is placed in the sign of Pisces for a Libra ascendant, generally we say the person have good bodily comforts because the Lagna Lord is in exaltation. So there is an exaltation degree also. If it is exactly at the exaltation degree, let us say in the Pisces also, if it is let us say so if you observe, Venus exalts in Pisces at 27 degrees exactly. So when a person is born in Libra ascendant, and if this Venus, which is the Libra Lord, is placed in Pisces at 27 degrees or nearby 27 degrees, you say a person have good bodily comforts. Also, its own Navamsha. So there is a chakra called as Navamsha chakra. it's a D9 chart. So when a sign is divided into 9 parts, and if you create a chart, we will talk about Navamsha chart in our upcoming video. So let us say the Venus is fine in the birth chart, but it is placed in its own sign in the Navamsha chart. Something like in the Navamsha, Venus is placed in the Libra sign, which is the Mula Trikona house, or the duty performing house of Venus, or it's also called as the own house of Venus, which is Libra, and also another house, Taurus, right? So in the Navamsha chakra, if you find this Venus is placed in the Libra or in the Taurus, then you can say, so you need to make a note here, its own Navamsha. In the Navamsha chakra, we're not saying the exaltation of Venus. We are talking about exaltation only in the birth chart. If it is exalted in the birth chart or it is placed in its own Navamsha, the Navamsha chakra, you need to check if it is present in the Libra or in the sign of Taurus. In the birth chart, you can also check if Venus is present for Libra ascendant I am talking about. If it is placed in the sign of Pisces, that were at 27 degrees, or at least nearby 27, something like 26, 28, not more than that, right? So you can say, or aspected by a benefic. Let us say your Venus is placed somewhere in the normal sign, somewhere in Aquarius or somewhere in Gemini, right? But it is aspected by a benefic planet. Benefics are actually two types. One is a natural benefic, another one is functional benefic. The natural benefics are Jupiter, Venus. These two are the natural benefics. But let us say, what is a functional benefic? Functional benefic is basically a benefic according to your lagna, right? So let us say you are a Taurus ascendant. For Taurus ascendant, Jupiter is a functional malefic, right? Because it is the 8th lord. So 8th lord is called as the primary functional malefic planet. So for Taurus ascendant, basically Jupiter is a very big malefic planet. But Jupiter is a natural benefic, right? But for Taurus ascendant, it is a functional malefic. So the Taurus ascendants have to take care in Jupiter's Antardashas and Mahadashas generally. Now, so if so generally Jupiter and Venus are natural benefics, and Mercury is a neutral planet. So it acts like a planet. It is in conjunction with generally, and it's very much neutral also. If it is independent, if it is a kind of neutral. And for Virgo ascendant, of course, it is the Lagna lord and it's very benefic. And for Taurus ascendant, if it is a very lucky planet for Taurus ascendant, being a 5th lord, right? And moon, if you talk about moon, there's a waning phase and waxing phase of moon basically. A waxing moon is a kind of, a moon is reaching the Paurnami, that is a full moon. That kind of moon is a benefic moon. And when it is a waning phase of moon, that is, it is going from Paurnami to Amavasya, so its whiteness is being reduced. So that kind of moon is basically a bad moon. Even it is moving from Paurnami to Amavasya, you observe from Paurnami you count for 5 days. So for 5 to 6 days it is good only, right? So, and also when it is increasing, it is an increasing phase of moon, or it's also called as a waxing phase of moon. In that also you can say that is a Shukla period, basically Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha. In the Shukla Paksha it is a waxing phase of moon, and in the Krishna Paksha it is a waning phase of moon or decreasing moon, you say. So even in the Krishna Paksha, the first 5 or 6 days, right, the moon's white content is good. So you can say in the Krishna Paksha the first 5 days are good, and in the Shukla Paksha it is generally good, you say. But the Krishna Chaturdasi is generally considered as a very bad day, right? So that's the moon thing, and the remaining planets are generally, Sun is a cruel planet, Mars, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, these are generally considered as malefic planets, natural malefics. Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, Mars, these are natural malefics. But according to your Lagna, they may differ. They may differ, they are functionally benefic or not, functionally malefic or not, judged by your Lagna. We'll make a video on that later. But generally, the first house, if you talk about the first house, your ascendant lord plays a major role. If your ascendant lord is in exaltation in your birth chart, or it is placed in its own Navamsha, or if it is associated with or aspected by a benefic planet, then also you may have good bodily comforts. So that is a fundamental thing, right? You may say my Lagna lord is placed in my in its own nakshatra, right? It is also to an extent good, but the fundamental thing is it's an exaltation in the birth chart. That's a fundamental thing. Another one thing is it in its own Navamsha? That's very much important. In the its own Navamsha, in the sense, in the Navamsha chakra, is it placed in its own sign? So for Libra ascendant, Venus is the Lord, Lagna Lord. So the own houses are Taurus and Libra. So if it is placed in the Navamsha chakra, if it is placed in the Libra Taurus, it's considered as good generally. Or is it associated with a benefic or aspected by a benefic? Then also you may have good bodily comforts. So the benefic lord of the ascendant being strengthened and placed in 1, 4, 7 or 10, or in 1, 5 or 9. So generally 1, 4, 7, 10 are called as the Kendra houses, and 1, 5, 9 are called as the train houses. So first house is generally both Kendra and train house, So 1, 4, 7, 10 or 1, 5, 9. So another thing is the benefic lord of the ascendant. So ascendant lord is generally benefic, people generally say, right, irrespective of it is the 6th lord or 8th lord. If you consider Taurus ascendant, it's Venus is the lord and it is also the 6th lord. Even though it's a 6th lord, but it is an ascendant lord, so generally it is considered as an auspicious planet, right, irrespective of it is 6th lord or not. So if this particular lord of the ascendant is placed, if it is placed in 1, 4, 7, 10 or 5 or 9, then it gets additional strength, so the body can get additional strength. So even though the person may have some diseases, he may survive better, right, even though he has. So whether the person may have diseases or not, it is clearly judged by the 6th house, because 6th house is the house of disease. But of course the first house is very much important. So if the first house lord is very much strengthened, then he may have some good amount of life duration, you can say. And the 8th house is called as a house of death, so you may need to check the strength of 8th house also, right? But now we are talking about the first house. So your Lagna lord is 1, 4, 7, 10 or in 5 or 9, it is basically strengthened, provided it's not aspected by any malefic, right? If it is aspected by malefic, if your Lagna lord is aspected by malefic, then again you may have some, you may not have very good bodily comforts, physical comforts, right? So the native is bestowed with fame and very good fortune if the sun is the lord of the ascendant and is strong and is in the degree known as in the degree that's known as a special degree, in the exaltation degree, right, then it is very good. Let us say sun is your ascendant lord, you are a Leo ascendant and your sun is, let us say, in the Aries sign, right? In the Aries sign, around that 10 degrees, sun exalts, right? So sun exalts. So generally, if let us say the person has Leo ascendant, and for Leo ascendant, the sun is a lord of the ascendant, and if it is strong, in the sense if it is in the house of Aries at 10 degrees, right, then it is exalts, basically, then it is very good. The native gets good fortune, fame, wealth and long life, right. That's the very fundamental prediction. So if the lord of the ascendant is very much strengthened, like associated with some uh, benefic planets, benefic class of planets, right, or at least it is in its own Navamsha. In the Navamsha, if you observe, if your sun is placed in the sign of Leo, associated with some friendly planets, right, associated with the lords of the 1, 4, 7, 10, then also it is basically strengthened.